Arriving in Arcos de la Frontera late in the afternoon the previous day, we were cluelessly unprepared for the steep, very narrow, winding one-way streets in the old town. It was seriously daunting to navigate, especially when the GPS doesn't work due to loss of network signal in between closely built houses. And this is all shown in episode 1 with the link above. After finally checking in, we felt we deserved a feast, so we headed out to nearby Plata Boticas and set our hearts out for a sumptuous dinner of jamon iberico, rabo de toro, and some other Spanish delicacies, not to mention a well-deserved extra cold cerveza. And this was how we started our one day of exploring Arcos de la Frontera. Arcos is one of the picturesque Pueblos Blancos or white towns of Andalusia. This lesser visited Spanish village dramatically sits on top of a rocky limestone ridge. Its whitewashed houses and stone castle walls stop abruptly as a sheer of cliff face plunges down to the river Guadalete 150 meters below. Declared a National Historic Artistic Monument in 1962 in recognition of its exceptional architecture and impressive location, the Old Town is a great example of uniqueness and mesmerizing views. Arcos makes the perfect day trip or one-nighter from Sevilla or Cadiz. So, as suggested by our host, we started our tour by heading to, in our opinion, the best viewpoint of Arcos, the Mirador de Abades. Abades Viewpoint is one of the most photographed sites in Arcos de la Frontera. The entrance to this outstanding viewpoint is an arch which bears tiled letters that read Bésame en este arco, or kiss me at this arch. It then opens up to some wonderful views of the surrounding countryside, including the lower part of the village, which is beyond beautiful. In the background is the Iglesia de San Agustin, founded as a convent and subsequently occupied by the Augustinian fathers. It acquired some importance locally as a school, teaching subjects like art, philosophy, and grammar. When the last Augustinians were expelled, the convent was abandoned, but the church remains today. Here we can see the Iron Bridge, also known as San Miguel Bridge. It was built on the Guadalete riverbed just before you access the Barrio Bajo. The river's name comes from the Arabic phrase Wadi Lakath, meaning river of forgetfulness. After enjoying such awesome view, we set out to explore the labyrinth of narrow alleyways all the way to Plata Boticas again for our brunch. Along the way, we saw some historical houses with interesting architecture. Here is Palace Núñez de Prado. This palace passed into private hands in the late 19th century and was then dismantled. In the first years of the 20th century, it was used for coffee roasting and flower making. The building is currently used as a tenement. The next one is the first palace of the Marquesas de Torre Soto. A standout feature of the building is its 18th century facade with a military shield of arms which represents the surnames of the different families who lived in the house. And here is Iglesia de San Pedro. Containing a 16th century main altarpiece said to be the oldest in Cadiz province. This Gothic Baroque confection contains one of Andalusia's most magnificent small church interiors, behind an 18th century facade, and may have been constructed atop an Almohad era fortress. This is the Mayorazgo Palace. It was built in the 17th century and is topped with a triangular pediment containing a shield with a helmet and symbols of the Núñez de Prado family. It now houses the Municipal Department of Culture, and its various spaces are dedicated to temporary or permanent exhibitions. In its lower part, the Municipal Art Gallery and the Andalusia Garden are located. We also passed by Calle Cuna, or Cot Street, so named because it includes the entrance of the foundation for abandoned children. Situated in this street was the old granary established by the Catholic monarchs. This street was chosen to be reproduced in the Spanish village of Barcelona. Next is the Chapel of Mercy, which was founded in 1490 by the Marquis of Cadiz for abandoned children and as a women's home and hospital. Its facade is in a gentle Gothic style, and inside, sculpted in capitals, the only two portraits that remain of the Marquis of Cadiz. It is currently used as an exhibition hall. As we continued walking, we came across the Colegio de Nuestra Señora de las Nieves, or the Public College of Early Childhood and Primary Education. Hot and famished, we finally reached Plaza Boticas. We immediately grabbed a table, a good spot to enjoy our food and watch people pass by. Plaza Boticas is the heart of the old town, and the name loosely translates to Square of Pharmacies or Chemist Shops. In this same square, we find the Convent of the Barefoot Mercedarian Order. This is the last remaining cloistered convent in Arcos today. The interior is filled with beautiful artwork, a Baroque altarpiece, and also, here you can find an image of San Miguel, the patron saint of Arcos. The sisters in this convent serve delicious freshly baked magdalenas and pine nut cookies through an ingenious revolving door designed to avoid contact with their customers. Despite the hot weather, we really enjoyed our lunch. Among other things, we ordered some churros, sangria, and paella de marisco. By the way, if you are facing the convent, on the left side is the 18th century Jesuits' house, which was never quite finished because Charles III expelled the Jesuits from the country. It is now a small Pandora's box of a market with the cheapest and freshest fish in town, among other things. With full belly, we started walking again until we reached another famous viewpoint, the Mirador del Plaza del Cabildo. This viewpoint offers astounding views of the surrounding countryside. Down below is the Guadalete River, lined with olive and orange groves. There is also a reservoir, the Lago de Arcos, which is good for a swim in summer. Part of the reservoir is the protected Cola de Embalse de Arcos Natural Area. Exiting the viewpoint, on your right side is the Parador Hotel. Its terrace is the place to go for a leisurely drink and to take some Instagram snaps of one of the best views in Arcos. On your left side are the Town Hall and, behind it, the Ducal Castle. Directly across is the Basilica Menor de Santa Maria de la Asunción. In 1931, this impressive church was declared a national monument. It was built on top of an Arab mosque between the 14th and 18th century, with Gothic, Mudéjar, Renaissance, Plateresque, and Baroque features. The basilica's main entrance, which we passed by the day before, is incredibly fascinating. Moving on to the other buildings in this plaza, there's the Town Hall. This building, housed in a 17th century noble palace, boasts a spectacular and elaborate coffered ceiling above the meeting room. You find the tourist office here today, where you can book tours of the astounding Town Hall. Behind is the Castillo de los Duques, or Ducal Castle. It dates back to before the 11th century and was used as a fortress by the Moors. Later, it became the residence of the Dukes of Arcos de la Frontera and is still in private ownership, so it's not possible to visit for tourists. The most historic part of the village is around this cobbled Plaza de Cabildo. This square once doubled as a bull ring, but is now a much more dangerous car park. Then off we went to check out some souvenirs at Galeria de Arte San Pedro. This is a good place to buy some simple, beautiful, and affordable ceramic pieces for souvenir. By the way, I'd like to feature the hostel where we stayed at, Las Cadenas del Cananero. It is Instagram worthy and exudes authentic Spanish ambience. And it's time to leave and on to the next destination. Our host was gracious enough to help us navigate towards the right exit out of the old town amidst the confusing, narrow alleys. This is the Matrera Gate. It connects the old town of Arcos with the lower town. It was instrumental in the defense of the city against the east. From the outside, an arch appears surrounded by houses, containing a simply vaulted chapel with a light that guards inside a quality sculpture of the Virgin of Pilar. As we drove out of town, we can't help but admire the location and the allure of Arcos de la Frontera.